Hi guys, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Alright, so, yeah, I'm a little sunburnt, so it's alright. That's because I actually had to work my ass off in the yard, like normal. So, but, you know, that's nobody's business. Again. Alright, so back to, all these, artifacts in the Warren's Occult Museum, which I'm really hoping I get to go visit next month. So, yeah, I had a really interesting conversation with somebody very close to me that said that we would go to Connecticut, and if it's open, very respectfully go and visit the museum. So, I don't know if we do go. I don't know if I'll video record any of it. I just might keep that for my own personal experience, just to get a feel for the place. I have found it very odd that I am that attracted to that museum, but I could be just because you see in the movie the Ouija boards that they have. So, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. So yes, thank you guys for all of the support. That was the most incredible thing that you guys could have ever done. Yeah, it was a really it hit home because I don't share. I have limited myself due to books. I mean, if you really want to know about me, just go through my videos. Don't listen to other people, what they have to say about me. Obviously, if I'm being talked about badly, I'm doing something right because I'm pissing somebody off. That's a very good thing. Very good thing. So, what else was I gonna say? But yeah, the amount of support, especially on my public page, my public Facebook page, that was incredible, you guys. Oh my God, I didn't realize that so many people still live together as a family unit, and that's incredible. I mean, it's psychologically, literally, I went through my psychology book. That's how pissed off I got. I was that pissed off. So I went through my psychology book from college. It went through, the family unit, and there's bits and pieces that would be considered. Do I want to say this? How do I want to say this? Codependency on me, but that doesn't matter because my family is the most important thing to me. But none of this matters compared to my family. So, yeah, it's not always good. But who is? If you're perfect, you're a liar. That's the truth. So, but just the love and the understanding and seeing how many other people actually have a situation like mine is very, very good. So, if people would listen and just watch some of these videos that I do, then they might understand. But it's ridiculous. So it's very ridiculous. Alright, so I'm obsessed with the Annabelle doll now. I must have one. I want one. I want her to do crazy stuff. I want that stuff to happen. I don't think it's haunted. So it might not, but then again, the statue's still crying. Yeah, Baphomet is still crying. So I don't know. I honestly don't know about that statue because that's odd. You just can't take it to the Catholic Church and be like, hey, what's going on here? You know what they're gonna do, demon possessed and just, yeah. So, yes, I really want to get the Annabelle doll, not the Raggedy Ann doll, but one that is a replica of The Conjuring because it's just got that creepy image. I want her to be with me. I love that. I mean, it's dark, and I'm loving that. So for the thrill is what I want it for. And it's just cool. I mean, how cool would it be to have, just a giant Annabelle doll just sitting on your lap while you're doing a video? I mean, that would be crazy. So many people on here. One girl on here, I love you. You're crazy amazing. You're gorgeous. I love the hair. I love the blonde hair. She has the real Annabelle doll from The Conjuring, the prop from Annabelle Creation. And I can't imagine the pretty penny that you paid for that. So, because, I mean, little 10-inch action figures of Annabelle are at least $100. So that's how expensive she is. Even the replicas. So, alright, this is cool. Heat Vision. So, HollywoodReporter.com. Obviously, you know, all of these websites are not going to be 100% accurate or truthful, but we get a little bit of a, yeah. So this is the legends behind the artifacts of Annabelle Comes Home. I want to experience that in a way, to an extent. Not the horrifying things, but, you know, just the little, like, movements and stuff, you know? So I think it'd be pretty cool. Alright, so this is just all the stuff, all the, you know, the stories behind the artifacts from, what's his name? Tony, Judy's husband. So, alright, so the son-in-law of the late conjuring demonologist Ed and Lorraine Warren goes through the history of the latest installment. So if you guys not have seen Annabelle Comes Home, this does give you spoilers. So, the cursed Annabelle doll was first introduced to horror audiences in The Conjuring of 2013 and proved to be so compelling that the porcelain figure quickly became the subject of her own franchise, with Annabelle 2014, Annabelle Creation 2017, and the latest Gary Dauberman's Annabelle Comes Home, which is incredibly amazing. So, New Line's Annabelle and Conjuring films are based on accounts that paranormal researchers claim to be true, but with the latest installment, when the theater lights turn back on, viewers may be left with more questions than answers. Yeah, there's got to be something coming after. I mean, the Amityville, that would be one. I mean, there has got to be more coming after. That's all I gotta say. Alright, so, yes, I was left with more answers than questions, or questions than answers. So, fans have no way of knowing which haunted artifacts presented in the film are based on actual ones, and which ones are just ploys, Hollywood ploys for quick jump scares. If you take a tour, go through YouTube, watch a tour with Tony Spera, Tony Spera, I think, the son-in-law. Yeah, you can see the fake ones. So, alright, to investigate, the Hollywood Reporter spoke to Tony Spera, yes, the real-life occult museum curator and son-in-law of renowned demonologist Ed and Lorraine Warren. So here the curator of the Connecticut-based museum breaks down the legends that inspired the latest films and how they differ from what made it to the big screen. Alright, now I think these are really, really neat because they have so many different artifacts in that room from over 60 years of their investigations. So it's pretty cool. The wedding dress. I always wondered about that. I honestly always wondered about that. Why? What about it? It does give you a little bit of information when they're going through their case files in Annabelle Comes Home. So, in Annabelle Comes Home, a wedding dress in the museum has a strong presence within the first half hour of the film. The backstory behind the deadly dress is revealed. Whoever puts the dress on is sure to murder her fiancé. So, Spera debunks the dress's roots, confirming that a white gown is present in the occult museum, but it's not known whether or not the dress ever belonged to a bride. So, at least we have this guy. He seems somewhat, good. So, Spera confirms that the killer fiancé origin story of the gown portrayed is 100% fictional. See, at least he is telling the truth. And was solely designed to up the spine-chilling ante of the film for the big screen. So the official story behind the white gown in the occult museum that the museum claims to be true is of the White Lady of Union Graveyard, Connecticut. We've all heard these stories of the White Lady, wow, my hair is really curly today. Sorry, I had to look at it. Alright, so she has been spotted for decades and decades, Spera says. Even recently, people have caught a glimpse of this figure. Have we not all heard a story like this? Yes. So, according to Spera, one of the supposed witnesses of the White Lady was a young man named Rod Vesky. One night in 2009, Rod was driving past Union Graveyard at around 1 a.m. after he clocked out of work. He was going down Route 59 when he suddenly felt a presence take form in his passenger seat. Rod glanced over his shoulder and, to his surprise, saw a man dressed in 60s garb. Ooh. That's nice. I like the 60s garb. Alright, so Rod looked away. overcome by fear, and then slowly turned to peek again. When Rod looked over, the entity vanished into thin air just as quickly as it had arrived. So it's very cool. I mean, it's just really cool. You guys can all see this stuff too. I mean, that's the wedding dress. You all know what it looks like, all that good stuff. Alright, so Rod refocused his eyes on the road, and in doing so, unexpectedly, spotted a woman about 35 or 40 yards ahead of him, dressed in a white gown with a veil. The White Lady. That's the name of my hair color. White Lady. So the White Lady, as she is called, raised her hand up in front of her, as if to stay stopped. So Rod sharply pumped the brakes. As soon as he did, the White Lady lunged at the vehicle and went right through his car. When the apparition disappeared, Sparrow said that Rod felt a wisp of air go by his right ear, and he just knew that sensation was her going through the car. So he looked out from the window once more and saw his side of the road tinted with a brick red hue, as if someone had coated the road with red paint. So when the White Lady went through Rod, felt the sense of sorrow and compassion. So, like she was trying to tell him something, perhaps attempting to imbue the potentially tragic details of her untimely death. So on a separate occasion, when a transformer fire broke out on Route 25, the White Lady supposedly manifested herself to such a degree as to become solid. So, that's kind of cool. Right, an off-duty policeman and firefighter were responding to a call when they accidentally struck the White Lady. The impact was so severe that the crash dented their truck. The White Lady was able to become solid that night because the energy spewing from transformers gave the spirit the energy to manifest. Spirit explains. I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm not a ghost hunter, so don't know. So all of the local hospitals and police were called, but no accidents were reported. There was no living lady. It is believed that the woman the officers hit was the White Lady of Union Graveyard. See, that's pretty amazing. I mean, that is really, really neat. We all hear stories about people picking up hitchhikers, letting them out, and they just disappear. Yesterday, the day before yesterday, oddly enough, I had a conversation with my aunt on the topic of exorcism, or casting out, negative spirits, in which, she agreed with me 100% about how I did it, and for the reasons I did it. So we had a really nice conversation, and it was very, very nice. It was really cool. She could feel how it almost, she said her exact words were, it's almost kind of like a hollow, like a hall. What did I tell you guys about how it felt in here? Kind of hollow. Like, yeah, a long hallway. Or an empty school. Oh, this isn't empty. It's a schoolhouse, so. But yeah, her eyes are kind of opening a little more to what I do, and, it's pretty cool. It's very neat to, really understand, people and how they think and how they tick, and, scripture, and not for me, sorry. Not for me. Alright, now we have the Annabelle doll. So, I really, really want this one. So, I just don't understand how a doll, I don't understand how this could possibly happen. I honestly don't. I don't see the logical explanation for it. Alright, so the Annabelle doll. Sparrow says the Annabelle doll is accurately portrayed in the films, at least according to the mythology of the museum. The main difference between New Line's Annabelle and the Occult Museum's doll is the appearance. So the Annabelle movie fans are taught to fear, has been jazzed up for Hollywood purposes. In real life, the Annabelle doll is not wide-eyed and made of porcelain. It's actually an innocent-looking Raggedy Ann doll. It's true. So regardless of the image, the real doll is said to be dangerous. Looks are deceiving, Lorraine Warren, who died earlier this year, told USA when discussing Annabelle. It's not what the doll looks like that makes it scary. It is what has been infused within the doll. Evil. Alright, so that does make sense. It does make sense to an extent. So Annabelle's origin story in the films contrasts sharply from the story maintained by the museum. So in the non-fiction version of Annabelle, there are 2 nurses living together in Hartford, Connecticut. But then there's a guy too. What did he do? Did he play a game with those 2 girls, those 2 nurses? Very well could have been. So, where did I go? Alright. One of the nurses was gifted a Raggedy Ann doll by her mother in 1970. Spera believes this mother purchased the doll from a secondhand store. After she received the present, a string of eerie occurrences ensued in the apartment. So, for instance, the nurse would leave the doll on the couch, only to return to find the doll sitting in her bedroom. See, that type of stuff would be acceptable. But no, Hollywood horror stuff is not acceptable because it's not real. So, alright, but I do think that's funny. Or not funny, but I think that's amazing. So, there's other days she would go out knowing that she had left the doll's legs uncrossed and come home seeing Annabelle's legs intertwined. So, the nurses became concerned with the inanimate object's subtle movements, especially when they discovered parchment paper with the words "Help Me" written in crayon scattered around the apartment. So the women had no idea where the parchment paper came from, as they had none stored in their complex. So the parchment notes were nothing compared to what would happen next. See, that's pretty interesting too. I mean, somebody could have actually literally broken in and just said, I'm gonna really screw with these 2 girls. But the guy that they depict, who is he? Where did he come from? Did he have a role in this? Alright, so this is cool. One morning while the nurses were eating at their breakfast nook, Annabelle's 2 flimsy little cloth arms levitated onto the table, Spera says. When the startling paranormal activity took place, the nurses were oddly fascinated by the doll. See, who wouldn't be? One of the nurses deducted that the doll's actions meant she was trying to communicate with the roommates, so she called a psychic for advice. The medium took no time coming to the nurse's aid and quickly held a seance. While hosting the ritual, the psychic reported that she was sensing the spirit of a young girl about 6 or 7 years old, Spera says. The psychic went on to impart that the child was killed outside of this apartment complex in a car accident. Her name is Annabelle, as she's in that doll, the psychic said. That's how the name Annabelle came to be. Alright. See, and she doesn't look, I don't know. She doesn't look too scary. But I don't know, it's pretty cool though. The doll from the movie is just way better. Way better. Alright, so after processing what they had heard, the nurses believed that a human spirit was occupying the doll, and began treating Annabelle more like a human than a doll. So for a little while, everything was fine, until one night Lou, the fiancé of one of the nurses, was sleeping on the couch with Annabelle, apparently seated on the opposite end. So that's who it was. Lou. That night, Lou woke up startled and sweaty. Who doesn't wake up sweaty? I do. It's because one of the nurses asked him what was wrong, to which he responded, I just had the craziest nightmare. I had a dream that doll was crawling up my leg and got to my neck and was trying to strangle me to death. Angrily reacting to the nightmare, Lou picked up Annabelle and chucked her raggedy body across the apartment floor. Lou belittled the doll, shouting that she is nothing more than a Raggedy Ann doll. She can't hurt anybody. Huh. Maybe just some things are better left untouched. Or don't antagonize. So as soon as Lou launched the doll, it is said that to have provoked the demonic presence attached to it, causing 7 psychic wounds to appear on his body, 4 slash marks on his chest and 3 on his stomach, according to Spera. His wounds cropped up like claw marks or scalpel incisions on his flesh. See, now that's interesting. I'd like to see that. I would like to witness that. Not on me, but on somebody else. The attack on Lou was indicative that that the spirit tried tied to the doll was far more sinister than any 6-year-old girl. So, yeah. I don't know if I don't know. I want to believe it, but... Alright, so one night, one might wonder why Annabelle targeted Lou and not the nurses. Sparrow rationalizes this by comparing Lou's sensitivity to the doll to poison ivy. Say you came across the poison ivy plant, I told you not to touch it, Sparrow says. Well, some people can touch the plant and not get poison ivy. Wow. Oh my god, I get it terribly. So, whereas others can touch the plant and their bodies become riddled with a rash. Yeah, that's terrible. So after the assault, the tormented nurses turned to an Episcopal priest in Connecticut for help. As a result of the severity of their predicament, the priest directed them to the Warrens. Once Ed and Lorraine Warren were on the Annabelle case, they had a priest do an exorcism on the apartment to cast out any spirits. Afterward, Ed took the doll with him for safekeeping. So after the paranormal investigator placed her in the backseat of his vehicle, he claimed he experienced car trouble on his way home. So this is very similar to when Annabelle comes home, when they have car trouble, and they're next to that cemetery. And all those spirits, I like your doll. She's a beacon. She attracts other spirits. Alright, so on his way home, similar to the car trouble scene during the start of Annabelle Comes Home, yes. Alright, so today the Annabelle doll remains safely housed behind a glass case in the Occult Museum. I wonder if that's still actually church glass, or if it's just regular glass. But she's expensive. If you look on eBay, oh my god. I mean, really? That much? But she's popular. Living Dead dolls. That doll, 50. But she is popular. The actual Annabelle doll. I mean, you can get a Halloween prop of Annabelle. Like zombie Annabelle. Cheaper than you can a regular Raggedy Ann doll. That's crazy. Very crazy. Alright, so... Alright, now we have the Mourning Bracelet. Pearls of Death. Cursed. Huh. Alright, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it's just a tiny, tiny picture. Yeah, you can't see it. HollywoodReporter.com. Look up this. So, alright, the Mourning Bracelet. So, in Annabelle Comes Home, when coping with the loss of her father, Daniela puts the museum's mourning bracelet on her wrist. Oh, okay, I know where this is going. Alright. In an attempt to contact her deceased loved one, her dad. So she puts a photo of her beloved dad into the bracelet and asks to speak to him. When she does this, she disobeys the no-touching policy of the museum. So Sparrow confirms there is no such item in the museum. Although he suspects that the object is likely inspired by the museum's Pearls of Death. So that's interesting. So in the Occult Museum, there is a real set of pearls that a woman was given. When she placed the pearls on her neck, she claimed to feel as though she was being strangled to death. People around her had to yank the pearls off of the woman to save her, so it all goes back to the cursed objects. Sparrow explains. Objects that someone put a curse onto. It could be a bracelet, necklace, or any article that someone performed incantations and rituals over to put bad vibes into, like someone did to the Annabelle doll. I suppose that's very, very, very possible. So, in the same way a priest can bless a holy relic, a satanic worshipper or black magic practitioner can curse a belonging, as exemplified by the Pearls of Death. Alright, so that does make sense to an extent. Astral energy, astral nasties. Now we have the Feely Mealy game. Do you guys remember when they had to dig in that box and find it? When Judy and the babysitter and Daniela were playing that. Daniela took that from the downstairs museum. So, Alright, so there is no Feely-Mealy game in the Occult Museum, nor is there any samurai suit, in case you were wondering. Spare believes that the inclusion of the game could be reminiscent of the classic Ouija board, since both games involve using one's hands. I don't see how that ties in, but... So, with the Feely-Mealy game, one person sticks their hand into a box with 24 objects inside and tries to feel around for the object seen on the card they drew. Whereas to use a Ouija board, 2 people or 1 person put their hands on the plastic planchette and ask the spirits questions. It's different than the Feely-Mealy game, but actually a Ouija board is much more dangerous because you're asking to talk to spirits of the unknown realms, Spara says. Obviously they don't have any idea. They have no clue about Ouija boards and how to actually use them properly for good. So once you open the door to the other realm, it's very difficult to close. Spara says it's like opening a window in a log cabin out in the woods, thinking a nice monarch butterfly is going to fly in, but a wolf, coyote, or bear can come and harm you. No. If you believe it, yeah, of course. If Ed and Lorraine were to sit down and use a Ouija board, I bet you anything they would get Zozo. And so would this Tony Spara guy. So the analogy is fitting for the spirit realm. Actually, no, it's not, with the Mealy-Feely game and the Ouija board, no. So, you don't know what's out there, so you must be careful what you invite in. Yeah, I guess, fear. Yeah. Alright, the Conjuring Mirror. There's a really cool mirror in there that I want so bad, oh my god. Alright, here's the Conjuring Mirror. Alright, in Annabelle Comes Home, there is a television set in the museum that shows the future when you look into it. And that was really, really amazing. Alright, so when Daniela looks into the set, she becomes frozen, as if the TV were Medusa's face. And she had been tortured or turned to stone. Spara says that this TV set was completely fabricated for the film, but that the idea may have come from the Conjuring Mirror in the museum. I like this. So the mirror was given its name because someone supposedly attempted to conjure spirits on its reflection. It's a scrying mirror, so another little misconception here going on. So with this particular object, a man in New Jersey is said to have sat in front of the wall-mounted mirror for hours on end, continuously asking to summon his deceased family members. Hey, I want to see you. Can you come and talk to me? He would ask the mirror. As he sat in darkness with nothing but a red light bulb behind him, the man beckoned the looking glass for about 2 weeks. After a fortnight passed, ugly monstrosities of faces appeared on the mirror. The hellish faces were so diabolical that they drove the man to a mental institution. I guess, if your imagination can go that crazy. So Spara points out that this type of conjuring is known as crystalmancy. Crystalmancy is when a spirit is able to present itself on a shiny object such as a TV, a mirror, a plate, glass window, or a bumper sticker of a car. No, it's called scrying. So the Warrens gained possession of the conjuring mirror when the owner's family called them to their home after he was admitted to the mental institution. Alright, now the werewolf paw. So, now in the Annabelle Comes Home Museum, a werewolf paw is shown to the audience resting on a shelf. Alright, I did watch an interview with Ed and Lorraine about a werewolf in London, and I could not take it. Lycanthropy. Lycanthropy is the scientific name for the werewolf syndrome. So it's an actual disease, not anything paranormal. So, alright, later in the film, a living, breathing werewolf lurks outside the Warrens' house in their bushes, near their chicken coop. According to Spara, no such werewolf paw exists in the museum. However, the werewolf paw was likely invented as a nod to the London case Ed and Lorraine worked on, and even penned a book about Werewolf, a true story of demonic possession. I don't know. I don't think that that's possible. So, there was a case in London where a man would turn into a werewolf. Spara claims he didn't become a werewolf like in the movies, but he would act like a werewolf. The man would growl, turn his fingers into claws, and attack people on the streets of London. It was the Werewolf of London case. Okay, wow. And the man who came under attack was William, aka Billy Ramsey. It's very odd. So Spera says, the Warrens believe that Ramsay was possessed by the spirit that causes lycanthropy, the supernatural transformation of a human into a wolf. To save Ramsay's soul, in 1989, Ed and Lorraine brought him all the way to the United States from London to have Bishop Robert McKenna perform an exorcism on him and free him of the evil force. After the exorcism was carried out, Bill Ramsay said he was free from the evil that was in him. He returned to his former self and went on to live out the normal life. I don't know. I do believe the werewolf syndrome is real, but I do think it's a medical condition. It's been proven. A lot of science has been proven since Ed passed and Lorraine. Now we have the organ, which was really neat. Really neat. Alright, now, once again, Daniela breaks the no touching rule. She touched everything. I probably would have done that too. I don't know. I guess better safe than sorry. I don't know. Alright, so, the no touching rule of the museum when she presses her fingers down on the keys of the museum's piano. After only a moment, the teen's playing is disrupted when she is spooked by an otherworldly man who appears suddenly playing next to her. So in the filmic depiction, Spera claims that there is, in fact, an organ in the Occult Museum, and that it belonged to Ed Warren, who obtained it after authorities cleaned out a haunted house owned by Reverend Eliakim Phelps in Stamford, Connecticut. Eventually, the residence burned down, but before the home went down in flames, it was emptied. Someone from the authority at the city of Stratford reached out to Ed, asking him if he'd be interested in keeping the organ. Ed Warren secured the instrument, but unknowingly carried more than an ordinary organ back with him to the Occult Museum. My dad's mom, my grandma, her piano would play by itself after she had passed, and her light would turn on by itself on top of the piano. So that I kind of, but it's been passed down, so I'm not sure. I didn't see it, so I can't say. So, quote, Ed could hear the strains of his organ playing at night, so he thought to himself, geez, someone must have broken into the museum. So Ed would just jet down the stairs to check. Spera claims, of course, nothing was touched or unlocked. As soon as he'd get to the museum, the organ stopped playing. This false alarm happened 3 times. So the organ finally quieted after a priest came to bless the museum, as is done on a regular basis. Spera says that a Catholic priest comes in every 2 or 3 months to bless the entire museum and all of the objects. In an interview with the USA Today, Lorraine Warren once said that the prayers work to bind the evil, much like an electric fence for a dog. Alright, so you're keeping it, so it's like, you're containing it. So if you destroy it, I don't think, honestly, anything would happen. Well, if it's a bad evil, I guess. So Spera says he doesn't ever want to destroy the museum's objects because they are evidence of past cases. Besides, if one were to harm an item, that person would merely be destroying the vessel and releasing the evil from which it is contained. So there is another crucial reason Spera continues to safeguard the objects, now that Ed and Lorraine have died. So for students of the paranormal, the Occult Museum is like a classroom where I can actually keep tainted objects on display for peers and have them get a better understanding, Spera says. So, the Occult Museum is currently closed, but it looks for a new location due to zoning regulations. I wonder why the zoning regulations. I wonder what that's all about. That's different. I mean, why would you do that? I mean, what kind of zoning regulations? I mean, was it, built wrong, or, I mean, was the video, not the video, but was the museum in the house, like, was it on a part of a different property? The zoning coordinates, was it unsafe? Who knows? But, those cases right there, just from Annabelle Comes Home, incredible. I have quite a few scrying mirrors, which I never have any bad experiences, ever. I have a very old piano. Nothing ever happens to it. I do have a little haunted Lily. She doesn't do much. So, yeah, I think everything had just calmed down after the basement blessing, and then yesterday, the house blessing. So it was pretty neat. It's pretty calm, and it's pretty nice. So, but, alright guys. I'm obsessed. It's amazing. This stuff is so incredibly amazing. That, yes. So yeah, now I have to figure out about that statue of Baphomet crying. No idea. So, I don't know. But, alright guys, I'll see you all tomorrow. I hope you guys have a good weekend. I love you all very, very much. We have Friday the 13th coming up, and it's a full moon. So if you guys want to do a group ritual again, I'll create it on my public page, and I'll post it here in the create a post section. It's supposed to be new, but it's been here for about a year now, I think, maybe. Alright, so, alright guys, I love you all very, 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 very much. With all my heart, all the way from Venus, all the way back down. So, we'll see you all tomorrow. Everybody have a good weekend, and I love you all.